All right, so the Page of Swords, or the Princess of Swords here, coming up as your underlying energy this week. This is about truth, brutal truth. Now, it's the page, right? It's not the knight, it's not definitely not the king or queen. And the kings and queens of the suits, the kings have gained mastery. So the king and queen of swords, they are very articulate. They're able to articulate their truth very clearly. Here, this is always the brutal truth. It's pages are very similar to aces for me in that they are the beginnings. So it might be the beginning of your understanding of some truth, some brutal truth that you're coming to terms with, or speaking some truth that you haven't really got a lot of practice in having done. Whether this is like you're not used to saying how you feel, you're not used to telling people, well, this is my opinion, whatever it is, it's going to be different for each of you. That's what happens this week, though, with the Page of Swords coming up there as your underlying energy. And it is about the truth. We have a lot of it escalates, as in progresses, because we start off with the princess and it ends with the prince, right? So with the page goes to the knight. The more you speak your truth, the more you come forward authentically, the easier it's going to get. But it begins with you understanding what your own truth is first. And it cuts sometimes, right? As much as we say, oh, we love the truth is amazing and brilliant. Sometimes we don't want the truth, right? We like the fairy tale. We like the rainbows and unicorns version. But this is the beautiful truth, because we have the sun. This can go both ways. Sometimes with the Page of Swords, it can really cut. It can be the truth that we don't really want to know or hear or deal with. But with the sun coming up, there's no escaping it. The sun illuminates everything. It's seeing the potential for happiness. It's knowing, you see the potential for happiness because you see everything clearly. Everything is clearly shown to you. This is not about having blinkers on. This is not about, I don't want to see it. I don't want to deal with it. None of that. We don't have any blindfolded people here. Excuse me. So beautiful card to have, very kind of radiant. That's the sun, right? Life-forgiving energy, warm energy is coming up at the heart of your reading. That's what your focus is on. So you might be trying to look at a situation and understanding what is their potential here. The Seven of Cups kind of says that too. What is the potential here? And sometimes we can get stuck in that thing of, well, it's too good to be true, or I don't know if I can do this or whatever. You can't escape it. When the sun shows up, everything gets revealed. There's no effort required. You can't avoid it. You can't avoid it. You can own it. You can say, I don't want to do it. That's fine. But you can't deny what is there. Now, what is this to do with? We have the Ace of Wands coming up as a past energy. So it feels like, this could be last week, last month, last year. When an ace comes up as a past energy, it's something that was begun, or an opportunity that was there in the past. And the Ace of Wands, it's, it can be something that restarts or is a second chance at something, but there's a lot of passion here. It can be a creative project that we start. Something that gets us very excited, though, very excited. It gets us at that, heart level, but not, I don't mean emotional level, more of our passion. This is something I'm passionate about. This is something that gets me fired up. I'm ready to do this. Can be within a relationship, can be a job, right? Like I said, it can be a work project that we do, creative project, a hobby, something. And it may be that you had an opportunity to do it in the past. Either you didn't take that opportunity, or you're still mulling over what you should do. Because what leads on from this Ace of Wands is the Seven of Cups. And the Seven of Cups is that. Is this too good to be true? Is this illusion? Is this fantasy? If I pick one of these cups, then what happens? It's that questioning. Now it's cups, so it's to do with our emotional, excuse me, to do with our emotions. Is it emotionally fulfilling? Is this the dream that I want in my heart space? But I always see it as a very kind of rationalizing, kind of analytical kind of energy, because it's about looking at your options, the options that are available to you, and deciding what you want to do with them. Now, with the sun coming up, you're going to clearly be shown what it is that's going on with this. It isn't too good to be true. That's not going to come from what you can actually see. That's going to come from an internal place if you do that. You'll know what the truth is because you have this Princess of Swords, the Page of Swords, sat right above the Seven of Cups. So, you can't escape this truth. This is that annoying, if you ever seen a kid, or if you ever been with a little kid, whether it's your own child or your niece or nephew or something, And, they might see kind of an overweight person or something. And they're like, why are you so fat, to the person? And the person's, you're like, shut up, kid. That's, you're not meant to say that. And the kid's like, but it's true. And it is true. But, it's that kind of, it doesn't need to be said almost. And that's the kind of energy that's coming up here. It's like you can't escape that truth. It's that uncomfortable kind of truth that comes up. And it feels like you try to, like you think, is this dream worth pursuing? But there's truth all over the place here, guys. If by the end of this week, you don't know what your truth is, and I mean for people that are resonating with this, if it doesn't resonate with you, it's not your message. But this is something that you're trying to figure out. You're saying, I don't know what the truth is here. I don't know if there's potential for this dream. I don't know if this business will take off. I don't know if there's potential in this relationship. That. Well, with this, there can be no this. So for some of you, this is just going to be that there's more than one option I'm getting here. Rather than it being an illusion, rather than it being fantasy, rather than it being, too good to be true, it's more, hang on a second, which one do I want, right? Which cup do I actually want? Now, once you decide what that dream is that you're going for, because that's what the Seven of Cups is, which dreams are worth pursuing and which dreams are not. Because you have 7 doors in front of you. You can only walk through one door. The door that you pick that you want to walk through, then you have to walk through it. You have the 5 of Swords coming up here. The 5 of Swords may be that it's conflict, that, there's conflict needed here to push whatever it is that you want forward. But, usually we see with the 5 of Swords that it's an empty victory. And I'm actually going to pull a clarifier for the 5 of Swords. 6 of Pentacles. Okay, I get it. All right, so we have... What's kind of stopping you from going from this is speaking your truth, because this is about you acknowledging your own truth and then sharing that out, right? I don't know. You might be afraid, because I feel like whenever I see the 9 of Swords, 5 of Swords, these kind of cards in the future, this is our projection. If you're stood here looking at your options, there's an option that you want and you're kind of thinking it's going to lead to this kind of energy. Either you having to do things that you don't want to do, you're not comfortable doing, or you're going to have to deal with someone who's kind of ruthless or maybe even a bit selfish, that they're willing to do whatever it takes. Can you match that? So the reason, let me just move this so I can put these cards in. We've got the Hermit coming up. So this is taking a step back. You're really trying to mull over what your next step's going to be. That's the Hermit. Looking within. What does it mean to me? My own truth. What is my truth here? I was all excited about this. It started off great and it looked like a great idea and I can see the potential for great happiness here. But then why are you worried about having to get into a fight or being left, behind for some reason here? And that's the worry, is that you won't get back what you give to it. 6 of Pentacles. But you will. You will. And it's not even about that. It's not even about that. It's not about what you get back. That's the whole point of this. That's why the 5 of Swords asks you, what are you willing to do to get what you want? I want you to think about, when we get cards like this, it's always helpful to look at the cards that come before it. Think about the 2 cards before the 5 of Swords. And think about the whole kind of swords, because this is a cycle, right, that you're going through. So you start off with the Ace of Swords. You have your truth. Victory, clarity, that comes through the truth. And then you have 2 opposing truths in the 2 of Swords. The person that's trying to keep the status quo with those 2 swords. And then at some point, you can't hold up those 2 swords. You can't make those 2 opposing truths work. And one sword has to get put down. And what happens? Then we get the 3 of Swords, which is that pain, the grief, the loss. Something doesn't work out the way we want it to. We're having to look at what the stories are that we've been telling ourselves, that we've been carrying around. We do the healing work. We remove those 3 swords from our heart. We get over the pain, the grief, the loss. We get to the 4 of Swords, which is the pause. This is that person that has removed those 3 swords now and they're healing. They're allowing the energies to settle. Now, this person has just come back from that 4 of Swords. They've just gone through that energy. They've rested. They know what their truth is. They've done some healing work. They've removed the old stories. So this might be someone looking at you, Taurus. And I'm getting that very clearly, that they might tell you, you're acting really selfishly, Taurus. This is not like you. Why are you doing this? And only you know what you've been through, because only you went through that 3 of Swords, the pain and the loss, right? Only you went through that healing process. You're the one that, the Hermit to me is the major arcana version of the 4 of Swords. You've done that self-reflection. Somebody might think you're behaving very irrationally and like spontaneously kind of doing something. But I think With the Hermit coming up, you've done the soul searching about this. With the Sun sat above it, and the reason I'm kind of going there, usually the Five of Swords is not a pleasant card. It is conflict. But it's conflict that you are prepared for with the Sun here, because you know what you can get out of it. You know what you're willing to risk for this to get what you want. And the thing that kind of stops you is the Six of Pentacles, which is, will I get back what I want? But I feel very much like your reading's telling you to speak your truth. Come from a place of your own truth. Come from a place of what your passion is, what your urges are, with the Ace of Wands here. Because look at what we have coming up as your advice. The advice is to be the Prince of Swords, the Knight of Swords, right? He speaks his truth. He speaks his truth. And it's almost as if you start off here with this kind of, am I naive to believe this? Is this really my truth? There's not a lot of confidence in bringing it out. Like, you know what your truth is, but you're not sure how it's going to be received because you're worried that it's going to be conflict. That's where you're kind of overthinking it a little bit. But you can see the truth with the Sun, the Hermit. You know where you're coming from, and then it's acting on that. The Knights or the Princes in this deck, they act, they're all about progress and movement. And he has his sword raised high, the sword of truth. No one can take your truth away from you, Taurus. And he charges into battle, ready to fight for his beliefs, ready to communicate whatever it is that he believes is his truth. Now, for some of you, it might be more important that, you want to keep it softly, softly, nice for everyone else. I wouldn't recommend it because there are massive opportunities for growth here with the Sun coming up. This is creative projects. This might be, something as little as, I say little, but, at work, you've had this idea for a project, but you might be stepping on people's toes. So you're thinking, is it worth it? I don't know. Should I just do this? Should I just stay taking a step back, skulking in the shadows, keeping it balanced and fair for everyone? But no, because there's a truth and it won't go away. It's already gone from the page to this Knight. It's one thing understanding your truth yourself, but he takes his truth out there to the world. If this is a relationship, and if this is a romantic relationship reading, I don't feel like it's fully gotten off the ground. That's the people that I think this reading is for. There's some passion. There might have even been some bedroom antics with this person, but it hasn't gotten taken to the next level. But you see potential here. Even if an existing relationship has been floundering, and that can be like even a friendship, family relationship, whatever. If, you guys were getting on really well, but there's now a difference of opinion. Your fear, I think, that's what kind of stops you, because that's why you're contemplating here. Is what if they don't take it? What if they don't understand it? But they can. The Suit of Swords. They're great communicators. They speak their truth. At the very least, the person will know that you are speaking your truth, and that's the important thing this week. To come forward with your truth. To step forward and say it. So we have two here, right? Express love through gifts. Giving a small token to someone expresses your love to them. And I swear to you, when I saw this, I did think. What came to mind is speaking your truth is the biggest gift that you can give someone. It is. They might not always like it. People always say they want the truth, but they don't. And whatever your truth is, I know you're worried that they won't take it or that you'll be seen as selfish or ruthless, but I think it will be taken as a gift with the Six of Pentacles, right? This is the charity card. It's a charitable act to speak it. And then some of you might not be happy in a situation. You see happiness elsewhere. In which case, do the right thing, right? And speak your truth and free everyone. So everyone's free to go follow what their own beliefs are, go on their own quests. Whether that's work, whether that's relationships, whatever. And then we have take a chance on love. When we start to love, our lives are changed forever. And it feels like that. It feels like a risk. But if you've got it, better flaunt it, right? And you have got it. Sun says that. Ace of Wands says that. I'm getting the sense for some of you that you're like talking yourself out of it because of other people. Because of other people. And guys, when you follow your own dreams, when you do what's best for you, you actually have more to give other people. And yeah, there's going to be some people that think you're selfish. But taking care of your own needs is not selfish. Living from your own truth, living authentically is not selfish. It's when we expect other people to pander to our truths or to take care of us. That's selfish. I love this card. It's beautiful for starters. You are blessed. You are blessed. I mean, I will say this, just looking at this, the sun, that is often seen as the best card in the tarot. I mean, I don't believe in best or better or good or bad, but it's that potential for happiness. When we see everything clearly, when we know where we're going, when we feel that warmth, when we feel that childlike joy, and it may be coming in after a long time. There's a lot of creativity here with the Ace of Wands, with the Sun. And those are blessings, but are you going to act on those? Are you going to speak that? You know, how many of us want love? How many of us look for opportunities in our lives? And then when they come, we're afraid of, you know, is it going to hurt someone else? Will they be on board with it? If they truly love you, if they're in your corner, they will be. They will know that it's the best thing for you. It's up to them to take care of their needs and see if it works for them. All right, guys, what is it? It says, dear you, sometimes you just feel like no one understands you. And I think that's what it is. It's a misunderstanding. But if you have the power of the Prince of Swords, the Knight of Swords, you can make this person understand. Some of you might be dealing with an air sign, you know, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, Leo energy here, Virgo energy here, but the signs don't own the cards, right? So it says, sometimes you just feel like no one understands you, you're not heard, or even that you don't count. This, my dear, is a terrible illusion. And although your feelings tell you that abandonment is real, and that's what it is. It's a fear of abandonment if you go for what you want. Let me just read that again. Sorry, I keep interrupting it because it's tying in with your reading. Sometimes you just feel like no one understands you. You're not heard, or even that you don't count. This, my dear, is a terrible illusion. And although your feelings tell you that abandonment is real, well, we who love you know better. You are never alone. And even when rejection happens, you are ultimately being protected, so better things can replace what wouldn't have worked in the first place. Everyone on this side of the veil is watching over you and rooting for your ultimate success. Life loves you, we love you, and you are a unique spark of the divine and always connected to the light and to source. You are always in our care. Trust and keep the faith. Love you always and forever. And it's guys like, you know, if there's a fear of rejection, we don't know that's going to happen. We don't know. I mean, I always say the future placement, that's the least interesting placement in a spread. Because we can change that, you know, we have control here, depending on what cup we pick, what choices we make. But if we're afraid that we will be rejected for going after what we want, for chasing our happiness, for shining as bright as we can, for flaunting what we have, right? There's a spark here. Here's that spark. If we're afraid that we will be rejected, you have just rejected yourself, you know, by not pursuing that which you want, by not pursuing your own dreams. By not pursuing your own happiness, you were right. You were rejected because you've just rejected yourself. You've just rejected your own happiness. Wouldn't you just rather take the risk? Wouldn't you rather just take a chance on love? And, you know, love can be anything that we love. And trust me, I mean, I do this all the time. I've lived by my truth. And the people that love you, they will support you 100%. They will be in your corner. They'll be like, I've got your back. I can see, you know, I might not understand what you're doing or why you're doing it, but I understand you. And I know that you will always do what's in the highest good for yourself and for everyone. You're not doing this to hurt anyone. So just go for it. I know it's really easy to say, but, you know, this night he will go for it. He comes charging in out of nowhere. He's very spontaneous. And you won't know until you try it, Taurus.